Hello everybody, how is it going? So, we're covering more of the One Piece Championship. An earlier round, but same law player as yesterday, that was in the finals, against Rebecca. So maybe a bit of a spoiler, but I was just curious on how this match went down, because on paper, I think Rebecca should do really well into law, and this was when I was thinking in my head, like, oh, when OPO4 comes around, I might have to take a break from playing Law, because this matchup might just be unplayable. But, yeah, I kind of just want to go over it, see how things play out, take some notes, and, yeah, so I believe the game should be starting right about now. Looks like Rebecca is going first, immediately uses her ability, picks up a Leo, who basically just pops a 1-cost on play, by resting, I believe, their leader. And I believe it mills 2 cards. So, works quite well with, Gear 4 Luffy, yeah. Also just good against Law, because popping a 1-cost for basically free is, pretty good. But our Law player starts off with a film chopper, seeing that I guess his opponent searched a Leo, that playing the 2-drop here might be smart in order to not get it, popped for free. I believe he has a Nami in hand, a Beam, he has 2 Namis, a Beji, looks like a blocker chopper, and an Otama. So right now he's not seeing any of his top end yet. Could be a little bit dicey if he doesn't see a Bonnie, or maybe at least a blocker Law, because I believe Rebecca doesn't really swing at your life. She rather, again, just goes for board mostly. Coliseum obviously enabling that for her to fight for board very well. So, our Law player actually just swinging 9k at face. That's pretty funny. The Rebecca player dropping the card. My goodness. But yeah, looks like I can't quite make out what he picked up off life. I don't know a lot of the alt arts or what they look like for OPO4, so forgive me. They're flashing a Borsalino, so I'm going to say it was probably a Borsalino. He plays a Hyruden. I believe that's Hyruden. Or is that Orlumbus? No, I think that's Orlumbus. I love that name, by the way. If I'm remembering correctly, you sack off one of your Dressrosa characters, and you give -4 cost to one of your opponent's characters, and I think it also mills some cards when you do that. Our Law player going 8 at lead. They get a draw 3, trash 2 trigger. I believe that's King Kong Gun. My goodness, it's hard to remember card names, but I believe it's King Kong Gun. It looks like he's discarding a 3000 Worlds and another Orlumbus. Just telling him to put his life in the trash. Come on, man. Our Law player taps 1, plays down a Nami. Let's see what he picks up. I think I immediately saw a Zoro. We see a Restand Law. Obviously, you can't take that. Looked like some Dodons. But yeah, picks up a starter deck Zoro. The Law player will then play down his blocker chopper. And one more Dawn for a Beji. And passes it back. So, interesting, he waited all these turns to play these 1-drops. I think it's fair to, I guess, put them on a weird curve of, maybe wanting to play their 7-drop Luffy, but they haven't really milled enough cards in their deck to, like, get max value out of the Luffy, and, they don't even have Coliseum right now. But the Rebecca player playing down a Leo, popping a Nami, and then playing a Kyros, and popping, I believe, the Chopper. Might have been in the other order, but you know what I mean, just clearing a bunch of Laws board. Yeah, it's spooky. And he plays down a Rebecca Searcher. Looks like he has the option of a 2k, and it looks like he does grab the 2k, mills the other 2. I think it was a Leo and another Rebecca. Rebecca player goes 1 Dawn on Orlumbus, attacks for 6 at life. Law will gladly accept that. Probably happy he gets to see one of his life, and I believe it was a Bonnie. He did already have one, he must have drawn it last turn. So, but seeing 2, hey, I mean, we can't complain. And he also picks up a 5-drop Luffy from his life. Not his life, his deck, for his top deck. He still has another Nami Searcher, which is solid. So he can, like, Nami Bonnie, not go really minus at all, and play one of his 1-drops. Maybe, like, Otama, the Orlumbus, just to out it kind of easily. Probably, it's pretty safe to play the Bonnie, because at worst, you can just bounce into your Luffy, and it's, like, all good. But obviously, it'd be super sweet if he finds a blocker law here, because he'd be able to pick back up the Bonnie along with the law, or, you know, playing the law, and then get to establish his starter deck Zoro. So let's see what he finds off this Bonnie. Going gambling. What do we see? Looks like, or just a restand law. It's fine. At least we hit something, you know. Can't complain. Just seeing any of our top end isn't bad. Just kind of spacing out his Dawn, just probably planning his turn out a little bit. Has 6 left. Will definitely get to leader this turn. Just debating how he wants to do it. He does have the Nami in front here, so something tells me he might play that Nami. I think Otamaing the Orlumbus is also a pretty fair play. Just getting it pretty easy clear on kind of like a value engine. Does not sound bad. My goodness, he is thinking. What can we talk about in the meantime? What deck are you guys most excited for in OPO4? Right now, I'll I'll definitely still be playing Law, but I need to play some other deck. Need a fun deck, and right now it's looking like green purple Dofi for me. I think I've already played it. I've played it a little bit on the channel. 10-drop Dofi is really fun. I just also really like the film engine. Also looks like he picks up a blocker law after deciding to play his Bonnie. Very good, very good. Exactly what he wanted to see. And he does take the Otama on the Orlumbus. So he can even swing a chopper into that Orlumbus. Really get a lot of value. Still just kind of thinking out what he wants to do. I am also kind of interested in Rebecca, because I do like more control type playstyles. I always loved 8-drop Kid. It's like, it's a control deck. We'll count it as that. Yeah, I also, again, I just love the Dressrosa arc and the characters from Dressrosa. So this set is really cool to me. Just, Dofi gets a new leader, Rebecca's there. Man, who else is coming out? It was Vivi for red. Queen seems pretty fun, just kind of top end spam. Isho, I feel like I've never really seen him in the in this meta, in the OCG meta, which is kind of like surprising, because I feel like his leader ability itself is really strong, but maybe the color combo just isn't as good as people thought, or just I guess the new cards really didn't support it, because I believe most of the new green cards are like Doflamingo support. But our Rebecca player, using that 4th gear here, attempts to clear the blocker law. The law player will just block with the Veggie, and he will shuffle back 7 cards and likely go again. Assume he'll just go at the law again. Yeah, and the law player will have to let that go. But at least we keep our starter deck Zoro. Could have been worse, could have been worse. And we get a 5k swing to life for Law. I'd imagine he'll probably take it. He should still have, he does have the Otama. So beating up this 4th gear Luffy wouldn't be that hard, because it'd just be a 5k with the Otama. And he still would have at least 2 swings into it with the Zoro and his leader. So I think it's a pretty fair take here. Don't have a ton of pressure really on you. And he does take that life and picks up a 2k counter Brook. And the draw for turn is another starter deck Zoro. So he's at his full 10 Dawn. Immediately taps 1 Yep, Otama's the Luffy. We'll go 7 at the Luffy. Our Rebecca player is tapped out, so also no blockers. So yeah, this Luffy is almost definitely going bye-bye. So yeah, Otama is a broken card. Our Law player will play down a Nami. Maybe he is looking for a Radical Beam or some amount of defense. Picks up a Zoro though. I think just again, any card would be fine there. Zoro could help him potentially fight for board if that's what he wants to do, or he can just continue the hits to life. Either one kind of sound fine in this scenario. Rebecca does have 7 cards in hand, which I feel like will be pretty normal, just because of her leader effect. And yeah, just always having access to a Surge. Your hand size will take quite a bit to diminish, unless you are tapping out every turn for another effect. So our Law goes 7. Looks like just at face. Contesting the Kuros is kind of a bad idea, because they just kind of get to defend it once for free. I'm not sure if you can rest both your Colosseum and your leader separately to defend Kuros, but if you can, then there's like absolutely zero reason to even interact with that card if they have both of them up. So our Rebecca player does defend the 7k hit. Our Law player doing a little bit more thinking. Should have 6 Dawn left. Uses 2 of them, or 3 of them, sorry, to play the Zoro. Then taps an amount. Oh, okay, his Brutus full. I didn't even realize. Yeah, so taps 2, takes it back. So he might have used an extra Dawn somewhere, and I'm just not realizing. Takes back Sotama, and then restands the Zoro. Goes 7 again at life. That Rebecca chooses to take. And activates the King Kong gun to draw 3 and discard 2. Graceful Charity, why not? He'll chuck a 3000 Worlds. And was that Borsellino? Yeah, that was Borsellino. So just the Law getting to this point, his early game, he really didn't play a ton. Like he had the opportunity to like play his searchers and stuff, but he elected not to. And I think it's fair, because just like saving your cards and then just having the one turn where you try to establish your leader effect usually does work against decks that are clearing a lot of your bodies and such. But that only really works if you don't have a lot of pressure on your life. Like let's say for example in the Zoro matchup, they have the option to just clear a ton of your bodies, but they are also pressuring life every turn with like multiple swings, and that's what makes the Law matchup so hard. But yeah, I think it was definitely a solid call to play the way he did, and now he is in a very solid spot with basically 3 6Ks on the board. His opponent, I assume, contesting the Zoro right now, or he went life. I'm not sure. I think last swing was on the Zoro, and I'm not sure where this swing went. But it looks like he has 2Ks in hand: a Rush Zoro, a Radical Beam, and I'm not sure what the other card is, but he will 2k out of it, so whether it was at Zoro or it was at life, either one gets defended there. And then he 3000 Worlds the Law, which is pretty good. Uses his leader effect, picks up another 2k counter, and passes it back to the Law. Let's see what he can do this turn. Oh, the last card was the Rush Luffy, that is right. I love all the different arts he's using for his deck. I hope to one day have a bunch of alt arts for Law. Right now I just have the leader. But I'll go 7k life. Rebecca will counter out. Only 4 cards in hand, so it's getting a bit harder for Rebecca now. Goes another 7 at life. He will take that hit. No trigger. Looks like a blocker he picked up. He will play down the Brook, give 2 Dawn to his leader. Looks like the only thing he can really bounce into is either the Luffy or the Zoro. So maybe he'll play the Rush Zoro and then bounce into the Luffy. That sounds like the move. So he'll swing 7 at life again. Rebecca looks like she has 2 2Ks and like 2 1Ks, I believe. So she can get out of 2 more 7k swings. And yep, drop another 3k encounter for the leader swing. Law doing a little bit of thinking. He's at 6 Dawn, so he can play the Zoro, swing for 5, then bounce the Chopper into the Luffy and either swing for 7 or swing for 6 and leave 1 up for Radical Beam. Either one seems quite fair. Goes 5 at life. Rebecca will 1k out. Law will use the leader effect, taking back the Chopper and playing down the Luffy, and does just decide to swing baseline, leaving 1 up for the Radical Beam. I think that's a good call. Rebecca will take here, not dropping their last 2k counter, and picks up, I believe that is a Sabo. So it's looking very good for Law. Rebecca's on very little cards. They need to clear a lot to even kind of get them out of this, and they need to play a blocker. So I'm pretty sure that Law has pretty much secured this game. They pick up a Barto for turn. Another blocker. Could maybe keep them alive, but I don't think so. And they can't really go for game. Rebecca just mapping out their Dawn. Tapping 3. Playing the King Kong gun on the Kyros. I assume that would be double attack, so that is a little bit scary on Law's end. Did leave 1 up for the Radical Beam, so good call last turn. Can get out of this swing actually with the beam and both his counters in hand. So he might take that, just because what does Rebecca do after that? You're pretty much just safe, because they'll have 7 Dawn to work with. They can go like 5, 5, 6 if they want to swing with every character, and that is almost definitely not securing game unless Law hits 0 counter at a life. So, yeah. Also could just elect to take this double hit and deal with what would be a 12k swing with the other Kyros. But, so yeah, he does do that and immediately sees a 1k, and that's all he really needed to get out of that 12k from the Kyros. Potentially even gets a trigger here. Yep, Radical Beam trigger, which gives him the extra 1k as well. So he does have enough to get out of this 12k swing. Law's at 6, that'll put him at 10. 11, 12. 13, 14. Oh no, that's just 13, my bad. Yep, that's 1k over. That's perfect, and now Law can just go for game with 4 attackers on field plus his leader. And technically, you could swing with the Brook, but you don't really need to. Yeah, he'll just go 10 Dawn on the Luffy and attack for 16. And that is game. So thank you guys for watching. I thought this would be an interesting match to watch. I'll definitely find some others to watch later. Well, see you guys in the next one.